Many people don't know the PlayStation 3 has over 1,400 games. Starting from its launch in 2006, the PS3 had a solid mix of exclusive and third-party games that took up a ton of our time. This doesn't even include games that can be played thanks to backwards compatibility. Although only some PS3s can play PS2 games, most, if not all, can play the 1,000 plus games that came out for the PS1. Whether we're talking about popular or underrated titles, it can be hard to tell which games are worth playing in 2020. That's why I'm gonna try my best to go down memory lane, play these games, and highlight the ones worthy of being part of your collection. Hey everybody, Juan here, welcome back. For this video, let's talk about 3 PS3 games that I really do believe are worth playing in 2020. These games vary wildly from an underrated game to arguably one of the most popular games of not just the PS3, but that entire generation. And then at the end, I'm going to showcase a game that you may look at it and guarantee that that's actually a game for a Nintendo console, but no, it is actually a PS3 exclusive. So if you like what I do, please consider subscribing, clicking on that bell, going down to the comment section, and let me know which PS3 games should we definitely check out this year. This first game that I wanted to talk about is a game that I first played in the form of a PS3 demo way back in the day before it even came out, released in 2008. Let's kick things off with Mirror's Edge. You know which other games came out that year? Grand Theft Auto 4, Fallout 3, Left 4 Dead, Metal Gear Solid 4, Dead Space, and Super Smash Bros. Brawl, among other titles. I have to bring this up here because personally, I think it'll tie in to why I think this game had a mediocre reception upon release. It's technically an adventure game, but I like to refer to it as a parkour simulator, and I mean that in the best way possible. I first played this way back in the day via PSN and the demo that came out for it, and this, mixed with the demo for Skate, may be the demos that I played the most in my entire life. We get to play Mirror's Edge as Faith, who lives in a futuristic city that is completely monitored by the government. Her job is referred to as a runner, which really it's short for an awesome, badass delivery person. Throughout the game, you find out that your sister has been framed for murder and she wants you to get to the bottom of this. Her journey to gain information takes her across multiple rooftops and inside buildings that are not so easy to go through as you are constantly being chased by police. I think the concept of the story is nice, but the delivery and conclusion is probably one of the weaker points about this game. It has this clean visual aesthetic, and jumping around buildings is incredibly satisfying as you really do get to appreciate the surroundings. I recently beat Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time on the original Xbox, and this game, it's like almost an evolution of that. You run on walls, jump to overcome obstacles, and take giant leaps of faith to get to your next location. The gameplay is simply very responsive, and I appreciate how the animation really makes you feel like you are playing as Faith. You can punch, make sharp turns, slide and punch and kick throughout your journey. Why do I love this game? It just feels so damn rewarding. From seeing where you need to go to actually going through the motions, it just feels so satisfying. I appreciate the ambience and the fact that this game took a huge risk by focusing on movement and progress instead of fighting. If anything, I wish this game had no combat whatsoever. You can take an enemy's weapon and shoot them with it, but it almost feels wrong and makes you want to figure out different ways so that you don't have to do that. Its strengths are in the scale of the world, going through obstacles, and focusing on the runner's vision, which is this game's creative way of letting you know where you need to go. You'll see objects highlighted in red, and the game justifies this by being part of Faith's experience and vision. At about 6 to 8 hours, I can see some people complaining about such a short game, but in 2020, this works just fine, especially considering that the game can be found for a very low price. The PS3 isn't the optimal version for this game, as it is available on PC and it's backwards compatible on the Xbox One, but honestly, aside from a few jaggy edges, it still looks beautiful on the PS3. I haven't played the sequel on PS4 or Xbox One, but playing through this game in 2020 again, I may give Catalyst a shot. Have you played Mirror's Edge? Let me know what you think of it, and if not, let me know if you're thinking about playing it for the first time this year. You want to know another reason why I love this game? Low carb donuts. Now for this next game, let's go back to 1 year before Mirror's Edge came out, to 2007. I will never forget when this game came out. People were blown away by the story, the graphics, the multiplayer component, to the point that people are still playing it to this day, myself included, on the PS3, because this game, people, believe it or not, is still online, even though you can pretty much only play Team Deathmatch. But released in 2007, let's talk about Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. I'm going into this thinking that everybody can pretty much agree COD 4 is an awesome game. I grew up playing the original Call of Duty and Medal of Honor games and was blown away when I saw the shift in presentation with this game. At the beginning of 2020, I actually went back and beat the campaign mode for this game, and rarely did I feel like I was playing an old game. You switch between multiple characters, which lets you experience stealth-based missions and all-out warfare depending on the point of the story. You get to experience a war in Russia and other locations, and the gunplay mixed with key story points just works. COD 4 is probably one of the most polished games I've ever played. As someone that's played the Warzone mode in the new Modern Warfare game, I'm surprised and also disappointed at the fact that I kinda enjoy the movement and feel more in COD 4 in comparison to the new game. They're both great, don't get me wrong, but this one is just so damn good. A remake of this did come out in 2016, and maybe it's the best version to play, but I've yet to check it out, so I can't talk about that. But honestly, this one is just fine to go back to. So why is it worth playing in 2020? From a gaming history perspective, it's just nice to go back and understand why so many people love this game. I remember playing other first-person shooters on console, and they felt nice, but then you played this game, and it was simply on another level. Also, the servers are still online. I've spent a few hours playing again, and man, I just had such an awesome time. Team Deathmatch seems to be the only online game mode that I can seem to get into, but still, I felt like I was right back there in 2007. The perk system was simple to understand, and I feel like after this game, some of them just got a little out of hand. I'm still undecided if this is my favorite Call of Duty game or Modern Warfare 2. I think it really depends on if I had donuts that day or not, but really, they're both just so good. I'm actually planning on replaying most of the campaign modes in the future, so make sure to follow me on Twitch if you want to check some of that out. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare is the definition of video game comfort food. I know some people think about Call of Duty now as this overblown, bloated, overrated franchise, but really people, there's a reason why so many people only play these games. They are that damn good, and this one is definitely worth playing in 2020. And looking at this game and Mirror's Edge, I really do think I need to focus on these specific years, 2007, 2008, for future videos because damn, there is some really good stuff in there. So when is the last time you played Call of Duty 4? Let me know in the comments. And for the last game in this video, let's head over to 2010. I remember when I first saw this game, I thought it was catered to kids, so I never played it. And it wasn't up until recently where a friend actually lent me his copy so I could actually play it that I went like, damn, I went so long without playing this. It is so good. If you love Super Nintendo, NES, you love those Zelda-style games, here's a sexy Zelda clone on the PS3 exclusive for the PS3. Let's talk about 3D Game Heroes. And yeah, that's actually the name of the game. I think that definitely had something to do with the fact that many people didn't know about it. 3D Game Heroes. I wanted to include this game in this video because I feel like this high-definition generation of games had a big focus on realistic graphics, but we also had games like this that took a completely different turn. It was interesting that for 2010, the developers chose to go for a tribute to a classic Zelda game instead of something like Twilight Princess, which came out in 2006. For better or worse, this game does not shy away from the fact that it is indeed a Zelda clone. It does have multiple unique elements, but overall, if you like the original Zelda games, you'll probably enjoy this one too. The story is about a hero trying to save the world. Original, right? What I did find interesting was how they actually justified the art style of the game. See, their king felt like this look, this 2D old school look. It was outdated, people were just not having it, so he changed it to 3D. I feel like this is where one of the game's most unique features comes in. Character creation. You can actually create your own hero and play as that. So I have zero skill to make anything nice, but here's a sample of the default options the game does come with, and yes, you can actually play this as Santa Claus. The other unique feature for me is the combat. You may see this huge sword and just think to yourself, what the hell is that? Well, let me explain. If you have full health, you have the benefit of wielding a huge sword that can destroy almost anything in front of you. Lose any health and it becomes a much smaller sword. There's a joke in there somewhere that I'll just avoid telling, but it just looks a little weird when you have the smaller sword. But yeah, this feature really does motivate you to avoid being hit by enemies. They also implemented other things such as blurring certain parts of your screen so the characters almost look like toys. I'll admit this style probably isn't for everybody. It even took me a while to get used to it, but after a while, you cannot deny its charm. And almost all of the other features that you would expect to see from a Zelda clone are here. You have a map, multiple dungeons, puzzles, boomerangs, bombs, and more. And those puzzles actually feel really nice. I'm not going to say they are overly original, but I definitely enjoy my time progressing through these different dungeons. I feel like the PS3 has many of these games that maybe some people knew about, but the general public either were not aware they existed or maybe they saw the box art and thought they would be boring. I think this here is an example of what the hell were they thinking when they came up with the name. I want to eventually cover other obscure titles like Folklore on the channel, so let me know of any other underrated or hidden gem games you think other people should definitely know about. So those have been 3 PS3 games I really do believe are worth playing in 2020. As I mentioned at the beginning, we have over 1,400 games in that beefy PS3 collection. So to say that this is only a taste of what's to come is an absolute understatement. As a matter of fact, working on this video, I was compelled to actually go back to that first year of the PlayStation 3. So one of my future videos is going to be about just that, playing some of the launch or some of the games that came out within that first year of the console. And do they hold up? How do they perform from the gameplay standpoint, from the visual aspect? When you talk about the cell processor, the fact that Sony was building up this to be the definitive next generation console, do those games hold up? If you're looking forward to that video, let me know, as well as let me know when you think about that first year of the PS3. Is there any game that jumps to mind that you're like, Juan, I would love for you to play, experience, or re-experience that game in 2020 and give us your thoughts? And I can say like, hey, this game's actually pretty good, or hey, hell no. Under no circumstance should you go back and play that game. And I feel like before I conclude this video, there's no way I can put the end to this without thanking all of you for the overwhelming response to the should you buy a PS3 in 2020 video. To say I've been emotional, overwhelmed is an incredible understatement. I worked on that video from my heart, from my passion for the console, for going back. I do think that sometimes we obsess about the future without really recognizing how much of the past is still relevant, is still worth going back to. I really do believe that in 2020, sure, we got the PS5, the Series X and all that stuff, and it's gonna look beautiful, but I don't think any of us really doubt that. But why not play some of the games from the past that maybe you haven't played in over a decade, or maybe you didn't have that much money growing up and now you can actually go back, because many of these games are completely affordable. So thank you so much, because I work on this channel for the sake of this connection, for the sake of the engagement, the interaction, the fact that that is one of the most popular videos I've worked on in this channel. And it's a video that I put out there honestly thinking it was going to fail, because statistically there was no indication highlighting the fact that that was going to be a success. So that was because of you. So sincerely, thank you. And if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. At the same time, I do have a Twitch channel over at twitch.tv/MrPlayerJuan. There I stream primarily Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Time and Saturdays around 1 p.m. Eastern Time, playing games from the PS2, the PS3. I have food eating streams. I ate donuts in one of the streams, and I love me some donuts. So let's talk about donuts over there. So up until next time, thank you for watching and supporting, and take care, everybody.